It's been a while since we've sat and had a little chat. A lot of you may have come across my channel because of my university vlogs, but if you're new here, hi, my name is Jerusha, and it is coming up on 1 year since I unofficially finished my degree at the University of Morto. So I thought it might be nice to sit and have a chat about some of what I think are the most important things I learned during my time there, which honestly might surprise you because it surprised me. These experiences don't always translate all that well on vlog style content. So let's get real and get into it. I definitely have a strong resistance towards the traditional education system, especially for younger kids. I'm not so much for this whole memorizing game that we're constantly playing. My whole final project was actually about debunking this whole system and trying to promote more like imaginative ways for children to learn as opposed to getting them to sit in front of a book and memorize. But that is a conversation for another day. The bottom line is, I feel like in Sri Lanka, there's this endless list of requirements to get through. It starts with your scholarships and your O-levels, your A-levels, your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD. And now there's all of these like fast track methods, things you can do before your A-levels or skip your A-levels, go straight to your master's or your PhD. And it's like there is just a growing list of things that people are required to do, but not so often are they told why they need to do it or how they're supposed to do these things. So if you're at a point of your life that you're concerned about your future or you're stressed out, then hopefully this conversation might put you at ease or help you in some sort of way. So the first really weird thing I learned is that grades or your marks don't matter for the reasons you probably think they do. Before I continue, I feel like I have to provide some sort of disclaimer here. The things I've learned are based on my personal experiences, which vary very much from different fields of study and different industries. Proceed with that in mind. So if you're studying medicine or something, please don't go and show this video to your lecturers and say, oh, this random girl on the internet is talking about how grades don't actually matter, because I don't need that confusion. You don't need that confusion in your life. So it's very different for the arts because everything is assignment based. I didn't have any exams during my time at university, so everything is really subjective, and that's where a lot of stress and worry and anxiety, I think, comes into play for these types of fields that are similar to mine. My assignments, anything that we were graded on, I was like, okay, I need to get the maximum I can possibly get for this assignment or project. But I would say, looking back at it, from all of the things I gained from working hard and achieving those grades, a high GPA would be at the bottom of that list, honestly, because nobody cares about your GPA. No one's gonna ask you how high your GPA was once you leave university, because how many of you can tell me what GPA stands for? Right. It gives you certain perks for sure, like in getting a job, maybe if you're pursuing higher studies, sure. All of that matters, and it can vary, like I said, for different fields. More technical fields would require you to have these requirements. But I'd say the biggest thing I got out of it was the discipline of it, the perseverance I learned through it, consistency, enduring power, meeting deadlines and getting jobs done even when I didn't feel like doing it. Time management, learning how to prioritize. I was working as a coach. I was working as a freelance illustrator, balancing my church responsibilities and all of these different things. My personal life, my professional life, which is why I will never understand when people pay people to write their assignments for them, because even if you write it and you fail, you get the lowest mark possible, you will still leave with the benefits that exceed that of a GPA, because it's really not about how much you're getting, it's about how you're getting it, if that makes sense. Which kind of ties into the next major thing I learned, the 3 big investments that you need to make. The first is investing in skills. Now, this might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I feel like if there's something you're really good at and you develop it, that can be more beneficial to you in finding a career or pursuing a career than getting a qualification with nothing to show for it, provided that it provides some sort of benefit to society or your industry. Because you could learn how to juggle, but unless you work at a circus, I don't know what to tell you. Especially the way AI is developing and taking over so many jobs. If you're able to increase in a skill, for example, in my field, thinking outside of the box is a really valuable commodity that is not easy to come by, honestly. Because people can think out of the box, but what does that really mean if you break it down? And your coursework might not always be able to assess that sort of thing, these sort of skills. But if you do develop them, a certain ability, a certain skill, that can open up so many doors and new possibilities for you, as I've seen it happen in my life. We learned this at church the other day, and we were talking about how the most fundamental thing you need in life, if you're starting from zero, whether it's your career, a new business, anything, is first a skill. Genesis 1:28 in the Bible says this is where God is talking to Adam and Eve when he's giving them the Garden of Eden. And God blessed them, granting them certain authority, and said to them, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subjugate it, and rule over it, the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every living thing that moves upon the earth." How this connects to me is once you learn a skill, that is, once you're fruitful and you practice and increase in it, you multiply, you master it, subjugate, and eventually dominate your field or your industry, you can achieve so much more than you think you're capable of doing. And this is applicable to so many different aspects of someone's lives, but I find it so interesting how it is relevant to people's futures or their career, like in this case. The next investment is in relationships. I'm going to be so for real with you right now. One of the most toughest things I had to deal with during my time at university was group projects. So everyone in HR out there, I salute you. You are doing the Lord's work, truly. So just as much as there are really difficult people to work with, you have your friends who are a joy and a pleasure to be around. And I cannot stress how important your circle is, because if you hang out with 4 lazy people, you are 100% going to be the 5th person in no time. Honestly, I can say in my time at university, I had a really solid group of friends. The nicest group and the closest circle that I kept in constant contact with helped me be very grounded and honestly survive, especially my last year at uni, especially because I lived off campus. So having people that build you up and push you to do well is so important, because I've also seen what the opposite of that looks like, where people drag each other down and have honestly some of the worst experiences that I don't wish upon anybody. Maintaining relationships can also extend to the relationships you have with your lecturers, and please keep it professional. I am someone that believes in the importance of mentorship. So I had a lecturer that was like a mentor to me, and she honestly dragged me through my last year of university because I was stressing myself out so unnecessarily, and she really helped put me in my place. I've tried in front of her so many times, and she's always been like, "Jersha, like these are not real issues." You know, at the time when that's all you're thinking about, you can really like overthink yourself into the ground. And this also extends to other lecturers, because I've learned that no matter what you think of your lecturers, there's always something you can learn from them. They have so much to impart, so you just have to kind of figure out how to draw that out of the lecturers that you are fortunate enough to have. But having a solid support system and maintaining and investing in those relationships really helped me honestly pull through and do what I was able to in my time in university. Okay, the final investment, and possibly the most important one, is investing in yourself and your relationship with God. No matter how much you're learning at university, no matter how many papers you read, no matter how many books you get your hands on, none of that actively contributes towards feeding your spirit. And I realize there's so much that you don't have to put yourself through when you are grounded spiritually and in the things of God. Let me talk about this specifically in the context of dealing with stress and anxiety. Unfortunately, I had to learn this the hard way, because there is so much I could have cruised through had I known this earlier. So 1 Peter 5:7, one of my favorite Bible verses, that reads, "Cast all your cares on him because he cares for you," him being God. So in theory, I knew, like, I didn't have to worry about assignments. I didn't have to worry about presentations, my career, where I was going to do my internship, what I was going to do after uni. I knew I didn't have to worry about these things. But I never truly understood how to apply that into my life. I worried and stressed myself out so much. And by the grace of God, I did really well in my time at university. And honestly, the outcome would have been the same had I not worried and stressed myself out so much as well. Had I learned how to let go of trying to control things with my own strength and let God take control, I could have been a lot less stressed out. Let's just put it that way. I could have enjoyed a lot more of my time at uni and not even had to deal with things like really bad skin conditions because of acne and stress and things like that. Because I distinctly remember being in church towards the end of 2024 and taking a decision saying I am not walking into 2025 with any more stress, anxiety. It had way too much of a hold in my life over the last 4 years. And I didn't know how to operate without feeling that way, which was crazy. So I am delighted to say that I was finally able to overcome it by the grace and strength of God, because I was able to come to that realization and actively learn how to apply that into my life. And that is a long story on its own. So if you are struggling with stress and anxiety and you want to talk about that, and maybe you think you'd like to hear my story, let me know and I can do a video about that. And we can break that down. But ultimately, prioritizing investing in my own spiritual walk with God and my relationship with Him helped me see things from a much clearer perspective. One that ties into the next thing, which is you don't need all the answers. Young people, all people honestly, are faced with this constant expectation of needing to know what they're going to do with their whole lives from start to finish. What are you going to be when you grow up? What are you going to study for A levels? What university are you going to study? When are you getting married? Who are you getting married to? When are you going to have kids? Now, all of that is good in a sense, and you have to know what you're doing with your life, where you're going in life, and have certain goals for yourself, because you cannot be floating haphazardly in this journey. But I would like to suggest maybe not being too stubborn on the actual process of getting to that place. Because in my experience, if I've ever wanted something, God has always come through in my life and showing me that He's capable of doing things above and beyond my own plans and expectations that I have for myself, or how I imagine a certain thing to turn out to be. Put simply, let God surprise you, which is such a liberating thought to have, and takes out so much of the burden that we are constantly putting on ourselves. How boring would it be if you knew exactly how your life was going to turn out from start to finish? Plan for your life, but let God be God. Leave room for God to be God. Because God's ways are always in the opposite direction of man's ways. That's what makes Him God. Because if you find man going left, you can bet that God is going right. So ultimately, I've come to learn these things more or less the hard way. So I thought it would be nice to kind of do a video and maybe spare someone else the heartache of what I went through based on what I've been able to learn, because school doesn't tell you these things. No one does. So I think I'm going to be doing more chatty videos. I've sensed a little shift in style for the channel. So let me know if there are certain topics you want me to talk about or things you think would be interesting to discuss, and let's do it. But yeah, until then, that's all, folks. Catch you on the next one.